with exactly how to teach guided reading virtually online, and you're already like, it was hard enough teaching guided reading face-to-face and getting kids to advanced reading levels, and now you have to figure out how to do it while you're doing remote learning. Well, today I'm going to show you how to do guided reading online virtually. Hey fun people, welcome back to Everything Aja. If you're new here, hey, my name is Aja. I'm actually a curriculum specialist and a parent, so I know all about remote learning from both ends of the spectrum. Here on Everything Aja, we do parenting and teaching the fun way. Because in doing everything in life the fun way, you are able to shape the future. Join our community by liking, subscribing, and clicking the bell. Now, we have been doing a series all about how to teach remote learning and how to make it fun. So today we are going to go over how to teach guided reading virtually online. I'm actually going to be teaching you this through the use of Zoom, but you can actually do this in Microsoft Teams, Google Meets, whatever platform you're using, these strategies will certainly work. Now, I'm also going to be using Reading A to Z in order to do this because Reading A to Z already has all the level books for you online, yes. And they also include the projectables as well as the printout, so you really have everything you need. Let's not recreate the wheel. Now, if you've never heard of Reading A to Z, Reading A to Z is just one of the many programs that Learning A to Z offers. And Learning A to Z is an award-winning educational resource company that provides teachers with the tools they need to reach every student in the classroom. Now, you can also use this resource as a homeschool parent or even a learning center because you will have access to all sorts of level books. Now, as a Learning A to Z referral program member, I'm able to offer you a $5 discount on your membership. You will simply use my promo code NB2092, and then you'll be able to take advantage of this amazing offer. Now, through the Learning A to Z company, I have used Reading A to Z, Raz Kids, Vocabulary A to Z, Science A to Z, and even Ready Test. So you could say I am a huge supporter of Learning A to Z, and I have seen how this program can dramatically help me as an educator and also help me shape the future. So now let's jump into exactly how this tool or any online resource can help me teach guided reading virtually. Now, just because we're in remote learning or distance learning doesn't mean the guided reading best practices just poof and go out the window. No! So once you have what level you're going to be reading to the children or the child, you're going to go find a book on that reading level. We are bringing the guided reading best practices here online to our kids. The first thing we're going to do, like with any book, is you are going to want to preview vocabulary. The really cool thing about Learning A to Z is that it already gives you high frequency words that occur in that book, and it also gives you content specific words that are directly related to your level book. Go ahead and write these words on a note card, sticky note, or even a dry erase board. As with any book, you're going to start off with previewing the vocabulary that they are going to see when they read. Break down the prefix, suffix, and root words of a word that they may not know already. Then, as a before reading activity, go ahead and click Projectable, and this will go ahead and display the book in a projectable format where all the kids have equal access and opportunity to the book. Once you're projecting the book, you are able to click the arrows and you can go through a picture walk and look at all the pictures of the book. You can ask questions like, what do you think is going to happen? Based on this picture, what may happen to the main character of the book? Once you've gone through your picture walk and you've made your predictions with the kids, you are ready to start reading. Now, the really cool thing about this projectable is that you are able to use the highlighter feature, and you can actually highlight all of these high frequency words and vocabulary words. I would highlight all the high frequency words in one color and then highlight all the vocabulary words in another color. You can do this before the kids even get on the call. That way the book is already preset. It's almost like putting a sticky note in a book online. How cool is that? And the other really cool thing is you only have to prep the book one time. I would suggest once you prep the book by doing your highlights, I will go ahead and bookmark the book on my computer. That way, all I have to do is click on the bookmark and the book is already highlighted, already ready for me and my kids. So this first word is a high frequency word. Does anybody know what this word is? You should already know what this word is.
Home.
Home. Perfect. All right, so these X words are words that we are going to see in our book. Does anybody know what this one already said? And we're gonna learn about antennas on
Insects.
insects. Good job. What we're gonna do is we're going to go over a picture walk. So what do you think our story is going to be about?
Ants. Ants and more ants.
Ants and more ants. Good. Let's look at the picture. We're not reading any words. What do you think that's a picture of?
Food. Carrot or something.
They're eating some.
What do you think the ants are doing?
They're grabbing some food.
Looks like they're grabbing some food, maybe using some teamwork. Now, let's jump into the during reading phase. And once you have already done the vocabulary preview, you've already made your predictions, tried to figure out what's going to happen in the book, you are ready to actually start reading. Now, when you're teaching online, guided reading is a little different than if the kids were in person, because if they were in person, they would all be kind of reading at the same time and you're kind of doing one-on-one sessions with each child. Well, with it being online, you will kind of have to tweak that a little bit, but just a little bit, not too much. So we are going to take it back. There are different ways that your kids can read, and you can actually use all of these different methods within one guided reading book, because you might choose a different method every few pages. So one old school way of reading your guided reading book would be the good popcorn method. And popcorn reading is simply one child reads at a time. So you would say, Taryn, you start off, and Taryn would read page 1, and then Kendall, you read page 2, and then Kendall would read page 2. And each child must listen up for their name, because just like popcorn, you never know when you're going to get popped or when you're going to get called to read the next page. Ants everywhere. You can find ants in lots of different places. You can find them in the grass and the dirt in your garden. You can find them on trees and in your home. And I know that home was one of my sight words. Now I want to choose on Taryn. Can you read the next page for us?
What do ants look like? Ants are insects. Their bodies have 3 parts and they have 6 strong legs. I'll call on Kenny.
Ants can be different colors. They can be black, brown, red, green, or yellow. Ants have 2.
Now you're already used to having the kids whisper reading within guided reading, and you can still do this online and just have the kids whisper read, and you're trying to listen up to listen to all the kids read. Now, because this is online, that means all the kids are reading at different paces, all at the same time. And of course, in a normal guided reading session, they would be able to go to the next page. And they can't do this here online because you are the one controlling the pages. But with whisper reading, you are still able to hear if a kid needs help with any reading strategies, and then you can offer them any of these guided reading strategies. I've already done an entire video on that, so make sure you check that out. If you do not know any guided reading strategies to actually teach the kids, I already have that for you. So make sure you check out those guided reading strategies if you don't have any. But with whisper reading, that is the perfect time to listen up so that you can teach and implement any of the guided reading strategies.
Ants can be tiny or large. Some big ants are as large as a paperclip. Ants are very strong for their size.
Taryn, can you go back and slow it down? Stop. Does it make sense? And go back and reread.
Ants are very strong for their size.
Size. Good. Doesn't that make more sense now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Awesome. Now, the next way you can have kids read online is choral reading. And that's really similar to whisper reading, only the kids aren't whispering. Instead, they're actually reading and talking out loud. This is when you have a group, including you, all reading a book at the exact same time. So you're actually doing it in unison, and you guys are reading all together. Some ants have large, strong jaws. They use their jaws to cut and to fight. Now, can I get an echo? Echo. Because our next way of getting kids to read online is called echo reading. And that's simply when you model how to read a page and then you have children repeat after you. And this way they're actually able to practice fluency because you just modeled how to say that vocabulary word, or you just modeled how to use expression when you read that dialogue, and then they get to practice doing this reading strategy after you've done it. So they're really pretty much copying exactly what you just did.
Most ants build nests under or on top of the ground.
Most ants build nests under or on top of the ground.
So once you have already read the book and you have done your popcorn, whisper, echo, and choral reading, you are ready to do some after reading guided reading activities. And you're going to start with asking the kids some good old questions. This way you know that they actually comprehended what they just read. And with reading A to Z is really cool because they already give you some questions. You don't even have to do anything. The questions are already there for you. Why recreate the wheel? Y'all, I love this resource, like for real. So with reading A to Z, they already give you all the questions you can actually use with the kids. You can display these questions, go over them, talk about them, use the whiteboard feature to actually type in and fill out the questions. You can even assign some for homework. Or if you're a parent, you can actually use these questions as extra practice, and this way you know if your child is actually comprehending what they just read.
All right, so now that we have read our story on ants, what I'm going to do is you're going to actually use the chat box to answer this question. Let's look at question number 1. Which words describe what an ant can look like? Is it A, as big as a person's foot, B, as blue as the sky, or C, as large as a paperclip?
If you're already trying to teach kids guided reading online, let me know down below in the comments, what are you actually using to teach guided reading while you're in the middle of remote learning? Like, what resource are you using? Of course, I use Reading A to Z, but not everybody has to use Reading A to Z. So I want to know, what are you already doing? And then we can all help each other because, you know, iron sharpens iron. So let's recap. We are going to display the vocabulary words on a sticky note or notepad to our children. Then we're going to do a picture walk and have them go through the book, make predictions, try to figure out exactly what they're going to read about. Then we are going to actually have them read the book, either echo reading or choral reading or whisper reading. After you read the book, you are ready to ask kids comprehension questions and see if they actually comprehended the book. And you can even go a step further in giving them some sort of independent activity, like a follow-up activity for them to do relating to the book. Whew, we have done a lot of learning today. Now, coming up in my remote learning series, I'm actually going to show you how to do close reading virtually online. So close reading is a little different than guided reading, because with guided reading, you're actually teaching kids on their instructional reading level, and with close reading, you're teaching kids on their grade level. So we're actually going to be going over how to do close reading online coming up. So make sure you like, subscribe, and click the bell. And if you haven't already been tuned in to this remote learning series, make sure you check it out. What are you waiting on? Go ahead and click it. See you later.
Teacher, I didn't know ants could be green or yellow.
I didn't know that either.
Fun fact, Kenny, when I was 5, I stepped in an ant pile and I had to take a bath for like 2 hours.
The magnifying glass and burn them.